Today, about 40 minutes ago, the Psionic and Disciple. Oh my god! Don't put me in a situation. The Nico-Lucian will not be televised. Everything about this is great, guys. About 40 minutes ago, the Psionic and Disciple routes dropped, and I've been very excited for these because I love the Disciple and the Psionic. I think one of my favorite fanfics that I've read recently is actually it was a Sufferer Psionic fic. They met as kids. They were separated for years. It followed their journey. It was flushed. Disciple. No, flushed. Signless Psionic. I think I said Disciple Psionic, but Signless Psionic. It was really fucking good. I really loved it. If I dig it up again, I'll share it with y'all. I already pasted that there. Blurb. Maybe just show and tell. There it is. I should probably just share this in. Is there? Okay. Alright, okay. Okay. I'm ready to get started. Looks like we got John. We got two people I don't know, actually. Hello. Welcome. My name's Bucky. I use they, them, or he, her pronouns. That is he, or hers. Bucky said he went to her room. My co-host, Clever Telling, who uses she, her pronouns, is asleep right now, and I did not want to wake her up, but we are, I saw that this dropped, and I wanted to stream it immediately to get ahead of spoilers. Also vibe with polyamory. Rye, are you okay? You good?
Dr. Pepper with my lungs.
Dr. Pepper down the wrong pipe.
Like,
wrong Dr. Pipe?
right in my lungs.
Ugh.
Not in the pipe, in the lungs.
Oh, okay.
Like, that was that cough you get in the pool when you swallow chlorine.
Fuck. God, okay.
Oh, fuck, that hurts.
I didn't know. Did it say whatever it takes on the... No, it just says whatever it takes on the route start. That's intriguing. Alright, okay, so my goal for today is to do the Psionic, at least the Psionic route, if not the Disciple route. I think they're pretty sizable, so it might take a bit. But let's start with this. We have a content warning. Violence, homicide, confined spaces, talking about death and mortality, blood, and heights. Great, cool. If these are triggers for you, I recommend dipping until at least the Disciple route. This will be I'm gonna say this is a 16+ stream. You don't know where you are. Which, you can't say at this point is anything new, of course, but this isn't quite the Alternia you're used to. The town you're aimlessly walking around makes you feel like you've been thrown into the pages of a history textbook and told to go absolutely buck wild. This is supposed to be the story of the Signless, and Aradia would tell you if you'd gone off course, wouldn't she? But she wouldn't, because you remember you got all split up, and that just makes you feel even smaller. The world around you even bigger. Still, you call out her name. Aradia? Are you there? Nothing. So, you're completely alone. It's dark, and no light pours from the hive windows surrounding you. Surprisingly, considering that this is a nocturnal race and all, the street seems pretty deserted. Your mind supplies for you a lonely tumbleweed, gliding against the paved road. And then, you see it. Friendship. Well, no, not friendship exactly, but perhaps a locale where friendship can take place. The only building with their lights on, like a beacon in the darkness. From the window, you can already make out uncountable pairs of horns packed inside. You can already tell whatever's going on inside is a major function. A booling location, if you will. I don't get that one. I'm also going to turn up the music a little bit, because this is a bop. I am enjoying this. Let me know if it's drowning me out, but I enjoy this. Okay. Parties! You're a natural at parties. You can't hear any music, but they might just be setting up still. You mosey on up to this here event and nudge yourself past the group of trolls that were standing outside the door with a couple of sorries and thank yous. Inside, it seems to be some kind of alien bar establishment. There are trolls everywhere, so much you can't take another step forward without walking right into someone's back. They're not talking to each other, though, in normal party hangout fashion, just staring straight forward, sometimes someone whispering to another next to them in hushed voices. Sometimes one whispering to another next to them in hushed voices. Their attention thoroughly diverted to something you can't make out through all the bodies. So maybe this is more of a troll concert event kind of deal? Again, no biggie for you. Oh, hey! Welcome, I'm glad you liked the Umbrella Academy episode. That was one of my favorite ones to do. I have Vanya opinions, and I stated them in such a way that may or may not have absolutely buried my co-host, who I love and adore. Again, no biggie for you. Been there, done that with Marvis. You know how to handle yourself. Ugh. You're just glad you're not alone anymore. And who knows, maybe one of these trolls is looking for a new squad member to hang out with after the... And then you hear a very familiar voice. You nudge your way to the outskirts of the room to get a better view, and that's when you see him. Oh, I need a signless voice. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to hear me speak. I know that sounds rehearsed, or maybe expected of me to say, but I genuinely can't tell you enough how much just being here matters. Tonight, you made the conscious decision to listen to a troll who, for all legal purposes, shouldn't be left breathing. And most importantly, you made the conscious decision to be part of a community. The Signless! That's your buddy! You enthusiastically wave to him from your place in the audience, but he must not see you because his focus, his grave, important stare, doesn't break for a second. You can see now that someone stands in the background of him, back to the wall, in a ridiculous yellow getup, his eyes a pupilless red and blue. He seems very official and intimidating. Arms crossed in front of him, his face an unreadable wall of concentration. Hey, welcome, Lee. He's seen, unreadable wall of concentration. Occasionally, he turns his head this way and that, as if scanning for some invisible threat. Is this one of the Clade members the Dolorosa and the Signless we're talking about? Wow, you eat up the scene around you and... Oh hey, thanks, Raven! You eat up the scene around you and... You just can't get over the fact you're actually at a real sermon. You knew the Signless mentioned preaching, but you didn't know you'd be able to see him in action. The room feels electric. If you'd all please take a look around the room, at who's surrounding you right now. Without even noticing, you find yourself glancing around too, like everyone else, to your left and to your right. To your right and to your left. Hi. Now me and my Clade, we can't stay here for long. That would be needlessly endangering all of you. But the truths I speak tonight, the questions I raise, those don't stop the moment I'm gone. I try to speak not for self-validation, or to give myself some kind of reputation, but instead to enable all of you to find these truths for yourself, pose your own questions, and help build each other up. Those trolls you looked in the eyes tonight, if you see them struggling, speak out, take action, become each other's pillars. The Empress wants each of you, no matter your blood color, to feel like the rest of the world is against you. Prove her wrong and build a family out of her village. Build a thing that will long outlast something as minuscule as my presence. Because I'm telling you right now, whatever you create together will be far more powerful than just me or my words. Damn, bars. You hope he sticks around after so you can say hi and also reiterate to him the exact level of bars he just reached. You notice, behind him, the yellow blood seems to be... staring at you? Menacingly? You can't say for certain with his eyes and all, but you can't shake the feeling you're being assessed somehow. The Signless starts speaking again, and you're trying to focus. You really are, but now that you know for certain the troll has not moved his eyes from you that entire time. Fuck. How do you make yourself look less conspicuous? Maybe a chill little whistling moment. No one looks conspicuous when they're whistling. Except, you remember, you're in the middle of a sermon, and whistling would be distracting. So instead you mime whistle, making no actual noise but still upping your stealth buff. You cross your arms and look up at the ceiling for good measure. Alright, so that definitely did not work because now you can see him quietly leave his place from behind the Signless and hug the edge of the crowd to approach you without making a scene. Well? He stands tall above you without saying a word. He points to himself, then you, then a door a couple paces away. You know that means he wants you to follow. You gulp for air. You're plunged into the dark of a storage room only a bit larger than a closet, the door shut behind you. He gestures to a chair in the middle and you sit. Without the glow of the bar, you can't make any of his features out anymore, and you feel as if you're in some type of crime noir film interrogation scene. Alright, let's get this throw on the road. So, you may be wondering, what does this incredibly cool and also badass-looking individual want from me? You nod your head vigorously. Cool, and also badass, yes. Well, I'll tell you. When I saw you in the audience, I felt this weird as fuck kinda cosmic force come over me, telling me I needed to pay attention to you and communicate with you in some long time-consuming social exchange. He dramatically flicks the lights on. With obviously my gut telling me you're an Imperial spy. Boom, another case closed. Hey, Lee. Another Lee. I also love the sprites. Look at this boy! Look at this boy's dreads! Look at this boy's horns! Look at his stupid little gloves, I love them! That smirk! Enjoyable! Husbands! Married! I'm also gonna take a break real fast to shut off the fan that's in the background. Our basement is very hot and very stuffy, and the fan needs to be on, but I'm gonna be hot while we stream for a little bit. Oops, my chair's on the headphones. Okay. Again, you begin to complain to yourself, man, what is it with this family and assuming you're a government plant? But then you think about the fact that that implies they've had people double-cross them before, and that just makes you depressed, so you don't air your frustration. You also get the feeling that you really shouldn't be able to remember that. But with all the time fuckery you've realized you've been able to do in the past so often, you elect not to think about that too much. What? Do you have no defense? Just that suspected. No, wait, you do have a defense. The Sightless is your friend. You guys hung out and he made you coffee and said a bunch of big words to you. Well, no offense, but you look really weird. Damn, Psy, that's not preaching peace. I wouldn't even say. Government-engineered spy level weird. But it does sound very on-brand for Sign to befriend a small weird person and invite them over to info-dump at them. Exactly! And you're sure the Sightless could back your claim up. Thank you very much, Mr... Wait. Did he ever even give you his name? He makes a face at that. What the fuck, of course not. Sorry, but that'll be like 10th base for me. Only 3 trolls on this whole planet know my hatch name, and I'd like to keep it that way. Right, okay, could you have... What did the Dolorosa call it? Could you have his title, then? There you go. I'm the Psiioniic. Sonic's like, yeah, you little bitch boy. You little bitch person. MS Par isn't a boy. There you go, I'm the Psiioniic. Nothing better than making friends to protect your husband. Amen, God bless. He then looks like he's deliberating something for a second, and then adds, also, hey, Evan Rose Taylor, you are the first person to use PogChamp in our chat. I just want you to know you hold the distinction of being the PogChamp. Okay. He looks like he's deliberating something for a second, and then adds, I'm sorry about the whole bringing you into a broom closet and accusing you of being an imperialist thing. Yeah, I'm sure you are, Si. It's no sweat! You get that all the time, actually. But wait, like, a psionic? Isn't that a whole subclass of people here? Well, yeah, but I mean, not to make a big deal out of it or anything, but I'm the best there ever was, so... He gives you a wink and lets red and blue sparks flare around him for a second for emphasis. You can tell he's having a bit of fun showing off. He bob and weave. That's the psionic to you. Oh, fuck. He drops the energy flying around him as his gaze shifts to the door's window behind you. So, it seems we have been put in a situation. What do you mean by situation? Wordlessly, he picks you up by the waist and lifts you so you're the right height to peek out of the closet door's window, and nothing seems to be a matter. Just a couple of heads pressed up against the door and the overwhelming sea of trolls you only recently got out of. He points against the glass. See that in their here cranny? In one of the silhouettes closest to the door, you can make out a bright red earpiece peeking out ever so slightly from behind their hair. After a couple of seconds, they press a claw to it, only to put their hand back down moments after. That's Imperial tech. You win a month of free streaming! Yay! On this free streaming platform! Just send us your first and last name, your credit card number, the expiration date, and the 3-digit code on the back, and we'll get that all set up for you. God, sorry, that's really bad. Okay, Sai has discovered a spy. I have discovered a spy. That's Imperial tech. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's right. He gently... Oh hey, thanks Rose. For legal purposes, this is a joke. Please do not send me your first, last name, or credit card number. Yeah. He gently puts you back down on the floor and then exasperatedly faces the extremely cramped room for a minute before saying... So, in summary, I needlessly accused you of being a plant while the real plant was outside the door this entire time. Look at the gloves! Look at the gloves! Very epic of me. Real epic gamer poggers champ moment. Okay, I need to figure out a way to deal with this so everything doesn't go to shit in the next 2 seconds. My situation, he means this happens constantly, yeah. Oh, but you want to help figure it out with him too! You're an extremely useful partner in crime. He gives you a once-over. I don't know. You need to prove you're a great ally to have on his side. You... save the game at this first important critical moment. Hit the floor and throw off your physical prowess by doing like 200 push-ups or something. Or, won't take no for an answer, cross your arms and get your game face on. I don't know why I read that in Sai's quirk, I just did. I don't know which one of these is going to be the bad route and which one of these is going to be the good route. My gut hunch situation thing is that the bottom one is going to be the good route. So, do we want to take, the first route and then see where it goes and then loop back around? Or do we want to take the bottom one? Bad route is probably the push-ups, yeah. Sai, now listen, we've been seeing jokes on the Distantquest Twitter for weeks about how fucking jacked Sai is. And he appears to be jacked. But you're right, MS Par does have the physical prowess of a noodle. Alright, let's start with physical prowess. Oh god, that's so cool. Look at the it changes when you mouse over it and it's red and it's got an effect on it. I'm taking notes for secret project. He does have... Does Sai have good legs? I don't know if Sai has good legs. Sai definitely has good shoulders. MS Par has noodle legs and noodle arms. Let's do push-ups. So perhaps you end up going in for the first push-up and fall flat on your face a little bit. I mean, it's not like you've had ample time to hit the gym in between having winged alien girls throw you into time portals. But that won't stop you. You get back in your push-up power stance and go in for the second one, and nope, that's not happening. Your elbows bend at a nearly undetectable rate. Getting up, you try to play it off like you just achieved a great athletic feat and dust off your hands for emphasis. Confidence is key, right? Maybe not. Sai looks very unimpressed. Look, kid. This could get dangerous, and you're already a very breakable creature. Compared to, like, an actual troll, I mean, I don't know if that's just the norm for your species. I don't want to assume. Wait, are you even part of a species, or are you just vibing? Right, you didn't explain the whole you existing thing. You're an alien. Oh, dope. Anyways, that might not be smart for you to face down troll cops just yet. But you still want to be included in the plan. Surely he could think of something for you to do to be useful. Alright. Rough draft of the plan so far, let me know your thoughts. So I go out there and deal with the feds and basically fix everything super effectively and nothing goes wrong. Oh fuck, somebody's at our front door. Hey, Rye? Hey, Rye! Somebody's at our front door. You put your hand to your chin in thoughtful-looking deliberation. Very well thought out and thorough start to the plan. You like his angle. But where do you fit in? Right, I was just about to get to that part. You will be tasked with the coveted and highly important responsibility of guarding this closet, which I have now given the moniker Essential Plan Meeting Room. Honestly, you'll take it. You know he's just trying to keep you safe, and it feels nice to know you have a role in everything. After
After I've executed the first part of the plan, I'll rendezvous at the essential plan reading room so we can go over the mission's successes and failures. See? And then we can get back to the Thurman. I shouldn't be gone for more than half an hour tops. Sound okay? You give him a little... Hey! You give him a little salute to show... You give him a little salute to show your unwavering loyalty. Alright, I need to go figure out what is at the front door, because the dog is barking. I will BRB. What was going on? Yeah, they have a gift card. Yeah. Okay. Alright, JK, I was not gone for long. I literally turned my chair around and then turned back around. You give him a little salute to show your unwavering loyalty, which he smiles at fondly. You can nearly taste the friendship of it all. And then he's gone. He opens the door, and peeking on your tiptoes through the window, you can see him say something to the troll, who then follows him out of sight. So, you wait. You take your duties very seriously, standing parallel to the door with your back against the covered shelf in a composed kind of way, which you hope will be as intimidating if anyone tries to lay siege to the essential plan meeting room. Time passes at a speed you nearly can't gauge at all for a while there, but you swear it's been at least half an hour. MS Par got traumatized by Doc Scratch during Friend Sim and hasn't recovered. Maybe you're making that up, but it feels like the right ballpark. He could have just ran into some complications, and that's why he's late, but the thought of what those complications might entail makes your stomach twist with worry. After a while longer, you peek out the window again. As the sermons progress, the crowd seems to have gotten even tighter, but there's still no sign of Psy or the other troll in sight. You briefly think about scratching tally marks along the wall, but that seems a bit dramatic. MS Par, dramatic bitch. Another eternity goes by, and at this point, you're on the floor staring at the ceiling. Yeah, he didn't seem too keen on you actually being out in the field calling out an imperialist, but he wasn't being a dick about it. You know he'd check in with you when the job's done. From outside the door, you can't hear the Silence's words anymore, just quiet, and for the second time tonight, you feel hopelessly alone. Psy doesn't come back, and from somewhere deep and unexplainable in your heart, you get the feeling that a terrible, terrible thing has happened. Closet time. Aww. Took us back. Okay, well... Sorry, I'm checking my notice. I got quite a few retweets on that, on our stream announcements. Oh, and Lee started following our Tumblr too, hell yeah! We have a Tumblr that I have automatically queued up a couple posts on. Alright. Let's get the good ending now, maybe. Please. You will not take no for an answer. You cross your arms and get your game face on. You show him you will be fazed by nothing, that you can fell every foe in your path. You try to mimic the mirror image of the way you saw him stand behind the signless, all composed, emitting the strongest just try and fuck with me energy you can muster. Hey! We do have a Discord! Join our Discord! I don't know if we have somebody... Oh yeah, okay, somebody did recently join. I'll just get a hidden use copy button. Okay. Just drop a quick link to our Discord in the chat. Sin mentioned that our Discord link is broken somewhere. I haven't heard back from them, so I think they might have meant on the card. So I'll have to go double check that. We've had to change our Discord link a couple times because we've got raided a couple times, but we now have a lobby. So just so you know, when you join the Discord, you will join the lobby, you will put your introduction, set your pronouns in the pronoun chat, and then the rest of the server will open up to avoid having alt-right trolls posting not safe for work bullshit in our chat again. MS Par had the idea of friendship forced into them and then ripped out of them, and then they had to read Homestuck, and then they had an insatiable hunger for friendship forced into them again. Yeah, I also doubt I would have a healthy relationship with the concept after that. Then they had to read Homestuck. You show him you will be faced by nothing, that you can fell every foe in your... I've already read that. The Psionic appreciates that, giving you an approving grin.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? You can help. Actually, it's good you offer, because there's a part of this I genuinely do not know if I'll be able to pull off alone.
Oh? An important special task just for you? Do go on.
So, I'm going to need to get this MF out of this motherfucker out of the building fat, so I can, de-escalate the situation.
Oh god, I love you, Sai.
In a remote location. See, now, if I just go out there metaphorical guns blazing and tell them to catch me outside, I'm going to know something's up. He's in the middle of the sermon, and it actually looks like it's going well, and the last thing he needs is to be worrying over the bullshit I get myself into. But if you were to make up some story to the Fed to get them to follow you out the back entrance into the alley, we keep a low profile and everyone's happy.
You're following him so far, but also he shouldn't say what he does is BS. He's trying to protect his family, and that's very important.
Are you trying to get deep with me?
His face is screaming, you better damn not be. You don't say anything.
Great, glad we're on the same page. Moving on. I'm gonna leave right now out the front door, and you're gonna have to wait a couple minutes after me to leave, so it doesn't look like it's as conspicuous as us busting out over here at the same time. Are you ready?
You nod determinedly, your face grave.
Thick.
Sai leaves. You remember to count out a minute or two before you open the door yourself, and fuck, you just remember you did not plan out at all what you're going to say to this troll. Well, if there's one thing you know you're good at, it's winging it. You shove yourself a little to the right in the crowd so it looks like you're walking over to approach them and didn't just magically appear behind them. You mock, looking around in a distressed way, as if desperately searching for anyone who can help. You orchestrate bumping into them, then tugging on the sleeve of their blouse. Indigo eyes stare you down. Here we go. You speak only a little above a whisper, so as to not disrupt the sermon, the Silence's clear voice drowning you out to anyone that wasn't directly next to you. Your cat, you mean your Lucis, got, stuck in a tree. An alley tree. In the alley. Could they please help a poor deformed troll out? The indigo blood seems very, very unfazed by that. You can't let Sai down. Also, Troll Danny DeVito's out there and he's doing signatures. The indigo blood looks at you, and then at the Signless, and then back at you, and then back at the Signs and then back at you. No, and then sighs in agreement. You take their hands and squeeze your way back past the sea of trolls, leading the way to the back exit. You open the door and usher them down the steps, and... Slam! Red and blue flares and hugs the indigo blood in a grip of pure energy, throwing them against the brick wall and pinning them there several feet above the ground. It happens so fast.
You fucked with the wrong family.
He nearly spits the words. So much for de-escalating the situation. The scene is a lot to take in. You remember your confrontation with the High Blood when you were hanging out with the Signless. You guess you expected a lot more talking, and a lot less slamming and death beams. You're frozen on the steps. The indigo blood tries to test their movement in the psionic hold, but everything below their neck seems practically paralyzed with how hard they're being held down. What the fuck is this? When Sai seems completely unfazed by their writhing in protest, they continue. I was just trying to listen to the sermon. I am a follower, and I won't be treated like this just because I'm a high blood. Your movement, our movement, is about pacifism and peace, is it not? What would your preacher say about this? Yeah, right, cop. They struggle against the restraint one more time for emphasis. Sai looks like he's about to laugh in the midst of his anger, with his sighs circling around him, dancing off his limbs and making the air feel nearly tangible with energy. You have to admit, it's a terrifying sight.
You're right. No, you're right. It is. Pacifism and peace, etc., etc. My preacher would tell you as much. Talk to you real nice and slow so you understand. Try to worm his way into your head with all his pretty words and make you see straight. That's what you did to me. But I'm not my preacher. I'm not my preacher, and unluckily for you, I know you're bullshitting me. With an audible dislodging sound and a sharp cry of pain, he rips the earpiece out with his sigh, and... was that physically attached to their ear? That can't feel too great.
Sai hovers the bright red piece in front of their face for emphasis.
So please, go on talking about how it's our movement when you've had Imperial tuck in your ear here, Cranny, the entire night, lol. I'm waiting.
The indigo blood drops the act and looks down at Sai with a cool contempt. They try to spit on the ground for emphasis, but it just hits the energy field they're surrounded by and sizzles into oblivion. That truly was not the move, as Sai just makes his hold tighter and more unforgiving, the reds and blues surrounding them both pulsating and getting even more vivid. They only send some kind of primal fear into the indigo blood, and only then do they continue speaking. Fuck, I cannot imagine Homestuck 2 being blasted into my brain that quickly. I had to stop reading it. I am not up to date. I was rereading Act 6 recently, and I was just, like, looking at Harry Anderson, and, like, nothing about that man is good, but what I find really funny is that, like, OG Harry Anderson, not Harry Anderson Egbert, OG Harry Anderson is, like, looks like kind of a jock and is kind of built, so for Harry Anderson Egbert to be a queer theater kid is fantastic, and I love it. You know, okay. The indigo blood is going to continue speaking. Hey, easy. Think about what my death would bring. What it would say about your movement's kindness. Is it really worth it? Sai doesn't falter for a second.
Cute. So what do you suppose I do then? Pat you on the back and let you go? Trust the goodness in your heart and that love prevails over all. And then what do? You run back to your empire. Tell them about the village. Record the fate of every sign you saw in the room that night. The hatched names of every troll that gave us shelter. The exact location of my clade. I know you have a superiority complex, but
You did not think his psionics could get any stronger, but whoops, there it goes, they just did! If you had to guess, you would guess this hyper is about 2 seconds from being reduced to a pile of ash.
I'm not fucking stupid.
Do you want to witness a death tonight? You yell at him to stop. Tell him he is spitting bars. Alright, y'all, do we yell at him to stop, or do we tell him he's spitting bars? Do we want to maybe interject and say don't kill a troll, or do we yell, yeah, fuck yeah, kill a cop? For legal purposes, this is a troll cop, and this is a joke. Alright, we have 2 votes for murder. He do be spitting bars. Alright, that's 50% of the chat says murder. Damn. Sai is making major points. Major P-O-I-N-T-S. There really is no way of concretely trusting this high blood not to just double-cross Sai's kindness if he were to let them go, and, as he said, put everyone in that sermon in danger, their clade especially. You have to give it to him. Oh, yell is the bad ending. Interesting. Okay. From your place on the steps of the back door, you cup your hands to your mouth and say a supportive bars. Because yeah, those were bars right there. The sudden disruption distracts Sai, and he breaks his concrete stare at the indigo blood to look over in your direction for the briefest of moments. But that was all it took. You can see the outline of Psionics holding the troll up grow less vivid and opaque as he turns to you, and in that moment, with his concentration gone, the troll he was holding fights free from his grip. In less than an instant, they recover with a roll on hitting the ground, and grab a broken piece of the axle of a scuttle wagon littering the alley, knocking Sai on the head with it from behind. There's nothing you can do as you watch it happen, no time to call out and warn him. And Sai falls to the floor unconscious, or worse. Oh, fuck. A flash of movement somewhere in the peripheral of your vision, the high blood scampers off somewhere. The thought crosses your mind that you could go after them. You're definitely not the most adept at handling whole-ass adult trolls completely alone, but you'd have a start on them at least. You could try. What do you do? Oh, fuck oh. Ah-ha-ha! Stay and help him. But you can't go after them, can you? Not when there's a whole troll right in front of you who just had a whole closet bonding moment with, who put his trust in you, and now needs your help. No way are you going to abandon him. You run over and kneel where he lays there, fallen, untangle him so you can put his injured head in your lap. You are definitely not equipped to handle this in the slightest. You should look for his pulse, right? Do trolls even have pulses? You take his wrist and pinch and feel a steady beat of blood rushing through his artery, and you realize that was a silly question. They have the alien equivalent of heart, so they must also have the alien equivalent of a pulse, too. Get it together, MC. You just feel like you're in the deep end with all of this. You put your hand in front of his mouth to feel for breathing. So it's a very good thing that he's alive, but you have no idea if he's going to wake up anytime soon, and that terrifies you. You don't know what more you can do but stay there for him. So you wait. You sneak off for a second to sneakily open the back door just a crack and check in on the sermon, but everything still seems to be going on smoothly, no one aware of everything that just occurred outside. Which is probably for the best. You know Psy likes to handle things on his own when he can, and would probably get pissed if you totally played and let them intervene. Still, as you go back to sit with Psy and elevate his head once more to make sure he can breathe right, you know he needs more than just your help, even if he does get cagey about interrupting his family. You resolve that if he doesn't improve soon, you're going to the Dolorosa. Just as you think that, though, Psy snaps back into consciousness. He hisses and scampers away from you with his wobbly legs, reaching an arm out behind him to the base of his skull with a wince. He looks at you, on the floor, and then a complete absence of the troll on the alley wall, and both ways out into the street beyond, still clearly coming into lucidity.
What just happened? Where are they?
You immediately stand up, dusting off your knees, and relay to him the events that just happened like 15 minutes ago. The axle, his head. He was out for a while, actually. Speaking of that, he should really ice his head. Lay down for a bit, maybe.
Where are they?
Right, about that. So you're all caught up in, you know, making sure he wasn't dead and everything, that you couldn't really take the time to, like, hunt them down or anything.
Do you remember what direction they were headed, at least?
Come to think of it, you can't say you do, exactly, but everything was happening all at once and you were just scared for him is all. You needed to make sure he was okay first and foremost, and everything else kind of faded into the background.
Though there's just a high-blood working for the Empire somewhere in the 5th town who may have all kinds of sensitive information about the movement, and actively knows we're onto them, and you just let them go because I was hurt?
He's still raising his voice, but you know it's out of fear. It still hurts. You open your mouth, but you can't say anything. There's quiet between the both of you, and Psy looks at you sympathetically.
1 second. I just... Ow.
He feels for the back part of his head again. Steadies himself.
Okay, I didn't mean to blow up at you, and that was fucked up of me, and I want to reiterate that what happened back there was not your fault, it was completely mine, but...
His face goes very serious.
But in the grand scheme of things, my life does not matter in the slightest. I don't think you will be, but if you're ever in the situation of choosing between my safety or the safety of the movement again, you choose the movement. You choose the movement every single time. Am I clear?
You tell him you don't agree with that. He matters. He matters as an individual, and that's why you helped him, and you do it all over again.
We're seriously not going to have this conversation right now.
Sorry, but if y'all are going to be partners in crime together, he's going to have to deal with you caring about his well-being. This way you can make sure he's okay, and then both of you still have time to track down that high blood and make sure they don't disclose any information that could compromise the movement. Everyone wins. Psy kind of squints at you, like he's about to disagree, but as the silence stretches, you think he's actually going to drop it.
That's if we still have time.
And there it is. You spoke too soon.
Sorry, really trying not to be a pessimist right now, except I'm trying... And not trying actually at all right now, because if any other information in town they could be had right now, me and my family will only be able to just say, I don't know, later that time as well, and just don't have a concrete starting point. They could be anywhere, but I don't think I'll be surprised myself at this point. Fuck!
He's talking alarmingly fast, not even stopping to breathe in between his words. Okay, this motherfucker needs some de-escalation of his own. You tell him to slow down. Slow down. Okay, take some deep breaths. Miraculously, he listens to you. Once you've gotten him visibly less shaken, you tell him that both of you can do this, even though you have no semblance of a plan in your brain right now besides running around the streets aimlessly trying to find them. You can do this. Let's just, make a plan. So far, the two of you have been great at plans. This does not have to be the end of the world.
I wouldn't go that far, but you're right. Sorry about my fatal freak out circa 10 seconds ago. I'm over it now.
It's no worries. Sometimes it simply be that way.
We've already wasted enough time with my whole brain injury moment. I feel like a sitting quack beast sitting here. Let's get moving. Wanna flip a coin or something to figure out which side of the alley we start heading down? Because I honestly can't think of better ways to determine it. that at this point, so considering we already have no leads at all. Why not further leave it to fate? Fuck it, when has that ever gone wrong?
You look down to the floor for a moment because you feel really bad you didn't take better of note of which way they were headed. Curse your low perception. But then you see it. The blood from when Psi yanked that earpiece. You can't see the bright red shell of the actual earpiece anywhere on the floor. The troll must have grabbed it when they made their exit. But their blood from the injury is still clotting the pavement in little droplets. You follow the little trail of indigo here and there, and sure enough, it leads out the right side of the It leads right out the right side of the alley. Psi notices what you're doing and gives you a smile. For the first time since he's woken up, he looks almost hopeful.
That was actually really smart of you.
You beam. See? Now both of you have an actual lead to investigate. This is still totally doable.
You're right, okay. Game face on. Let's get this grub loaf.
With that, the two of you make a mad dash following the trail of blue out of the alley and into the streets, rushing to make up for lost time. He looks like fucking Mojo Jojo right here. God. You zigzag in between buildings until you're so exhausted you have to consciously think about breathing, every inhale burning as it goes down. Beside you, Psi has an unbreakable focus, triple-checking the blood trail is still underneath every second or so, constantly splitting his focus down and up at what's in front of him. He looks desperate, to the point where you can tangibly feel it in the air. The baby hairs at the base of your neck are sticking straight up. It feels oddly personal, seeing him feel so powerless, and you want to make things better, as is your usual gut instinct. You tell him in a calming voice, you know, even if his fears are right, even if for some reason we don't find them, you're sure his family isn't going to blame him for that. You've met the Signless, the Dolorosa. They're really understanding people, and they seem to just want what's best for everyone, and they already really care about him, so...
That's not even an option right now, I don't want to think about that, okay? I don't know if you've noticed this, but I fuck up a lot. It's something I've been trying to work on. But if that means I have to drag them down with me and fix my mistakes, I can't let that happen. They don't deserve that.
Okay, but like, he's not fucking up though? Over the course of one night, he's been putting in a lot of, situations. And every time he's just been trying to make the best possible choice. Nobody's gonna make him feel bad for just trying to help.
Cool, so I've got an A for effort and nothing else. That thoroughly is helpful of me.
He looks down one more time, then back up at you, halting both of you in your tracks.
Alright, we both got a new awesome development on our hands. The blood trail ends here.
Look down to see for yourself, and yeah, that's one measly trickle of indigo and then nothing for the entire rest of the street as far as you can see. You run ahead to make sure the blood really is gone, because it can't be. That means you're both at square one again, and you can't let that happen. Psi's gonna freak, and... You hear the rustling of, hopefully, troll-like movement around the street's corner, which makes you completely freeze up on instinct. That could be them. You hope you catch them here now. In a swift motion, you crouch to make sure your shadow doesn't peek out, and motion for Psi to come join you. He must have heard it too, because he gives wide eyes, silently dashing over to hug the wall beside you.
Holy fuck.
He's whispering, but it doesn't hide the anticipation in his voice. The hope.
Holy fuck. I didn't think it would be this easy. Okay, on my call, I'm gonna jump out and put them in a hold. Try not to, like, die or anything. 3, 2...
And then Psi jumps out. There was definitely supposed to be a 1 in there, but alright. Anyways, you feel the air reminiscently go static, completely unmoving, watch the sparks leave his fingertips, and then unceremoniously fizzle out into nothing. He grabs, again, at the base of his skull, curling in on himself with a pained yelp. Oh boy, this is not good. You rush over to help him, in theory, but you also know this is some weird troll telekinetic ability shit you have absolutely zero medical knowledge on. You feel the same way you felt around Follicle, kinda. Just the whole having no clue what's going on, but know they're suffering from some bad alien affliction. Maybe being in his general vicinity will subconsciously help vis-a-vis good old moral support. You hear in the,
what in the fuck is that supposed to be?
From behind you, and you turn to see, definitely not an olive blood staring the two of you down. Definitely not an indigo blood staring the two of you down. They're an olive blood and they look pissed. Which, I mean, is totally understandable, considering y'all just special ops tumbled out of the corner and poised to attack them.
Here I am, minding my damn business when a psionic and,
They stop and consider you for a moment.
Whatever the fuck that comes tumbling out of a corner poised to attack me. Hey, aren't you that preacher everyone's been talking about? The one that walks around in a blanket?
Psi looks at you like he's still in approximately a lot of pain, so you draft yourself to handle this one. You assure the Olive this was also a huge mistake. See, you both kind of have a score to settle with someone. You know, vengeance, fighting, normal Eternian pastimes, you're sure they can relate to. But you both totally confuse them with someone else. You hope they understand.
Makes sense. Yeah, whatever. Definitely been there. Just don't try that shit again or we're gonna have a problem. I didn't mean to try to hurt you, Anya.
It's from somewhere behind you and it catches you off guard. You really didn't think Sai was alright enough to say anything.
I wouldn't have done that if I knew you weren't who I was looking for, and I'm sorry.
The Olive Blood seemed very taken aback by that. In fact, way more taken aback than they were having nearly gotten into a scuffle. They look all vulnerable for a moment, kinda like the way the Cerulean did when the Silence spoke to them. You figure trolls don't hear apologies all that often. Then, they glare at him, spit on the floor, and scamper away into the darkness. Well, that could've gone a lot worse. And look at that! He apologized. You're sure the Signless would have been very proud of that, using his teachings and everything. Sai makes a face.
Time's not my keeper. I apologize because I'm not a huge bolt read, not for some invisible revolution brownie point.
Oof. Here you go again, saying the wrong thing. Why are you so bad at this friendship business all of a sudden? Making friends is like... definitely one of the only skills you got going for you.
So my side's completely thought now, which is cool. So I mean, even if you do catch them, it'll be kind of pointless seeing as I don't have the advantage anymore.
Where did all this self-doubt come from? Wasn't he hyping himself as one of the best psionics ever to breathe air like an hour ago? Let's bring that positivity back.
No badass confident, no brain rot me has definitely left the chat a while ago, unfortunately. You're stuck with incompetent, insufferable me for the foreseeable future, free to bail. Feel free to bail now. Also, I mean, considering I can't even use my psionics right now without verging on a meltdown, it's not like I can bring that to the table anymore.
You point out that maybe it was good that his powers fucked up when they did. You know he wouldn't have wanted to hurt some random bystander.
It shouldn't have ever gotten to that point is the thing. I shouldn't have tried to blindly attack anyone. I should have dealt with the cold blood when I had the chance, then and there. This just fucking sucks because in normal circumstances I could use my side to get us to a high vantage point where we can actually see the cheese all at once and try to spot them that way, but that's completely out of the picture now. Wait, I guess I'll try.
You tell him that he definitely shouldn't try that. Even you know it's just going to further fuck with his brain.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to try. Ow, fuck.
Sai gets about 2 centimeters off the ground before hitting the pavement again. Yeah, as you said, no more telekinesis shit for a while. You're going to have to think of a plan that doesn't involve psionics. So, what is the plan, exactly?
Me keep moving.
That's it? That's the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. Please tell me if you have a better idea.
So, you keep moving. You walk for what must be hours upon hours until your feet feel your feet start to blister, until you're sure you've passed the same street over and over again. Every time you still look at him, you can see in his face that he already has his mind made up about how this night's going to end. You're trying hard to stay positive, you really are, but it's hard, but you can tangibly feel how completely done he is. Come to think of it, it's as if he knew you both were going to fail since the beginning, since you got hit over the head, like he's just been going through the motions ever since. Maybe you're reading into it too much, but that thought gives you an uncanny, kind of infectious feeling of all the same. The sky turns just a few shades lighter, and you know in due time the unforgiving sun is going to rear its ugly head from behind the mountain skyline. There's no urgency to either of your pace anymore. There hasn't been for a while now. The two of you move as if you know you have to, because this is how it has to play out, far beyond either of your control. You watch as Sai looks, and eventually acknowledges the sky too. You think something privately to yourself, something you didn't think you'd let yourself say tonight. This is fucking hopeless.
This is fucking hopeless. Don't you get it? This is the one thing I'm good at. Keeping them safe. And I fucked up.
Sai takes a deep breath, has a little get yourself together moment, as he rubs his hands in his face. He looks really, really tired.
I should probably go back to my family. Tell Simon and Di and Rosa what happened. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to want me after this. Like, I have very much just proven myself to be a giant liability. I need to track down everyone who was at the sermon and let them know too. It's the least I could do considering they're all in danger now on account of me and everything. I mean, we're probably going to need to rehome them. I don't think it's safe for them to stay here. But I actually have no idea where they could go, where it would be safe. I can't ask a whole town to leave their community they built. Fuck.
You tell him you could go with him, you know. Help him explain. In your head, it was supposed to sound reassuring, but your tone got completely lost somewhere in between the words.
Thanks for offering, I guess. But this is repentance I need to ask for alone.
He was big brain in that.
This sucks.
Yeah, okay, killing him was bad end.
Yeah, the mandible.
Casual 69 on the screen. Alright, need stretch. I'm sitting here leaning. Alright, other option time. I might grab a snickety snack real fast.
That's not bad.
Okay.
I'm just gonna farm this herb again.
Brain. Alright, I need a quick break to grab some water because I am parched, so I will BRB. let's tell him to not do a murder. Bryce says murder good. Yell at him to stop. You remember what you learned from your time with the Signless. Well, okay, wait, I'll give a second for people to come back in case people are not yet back, because I took a second. I have a mug full of cherries and a large, wide-mouthed mason jar full of water, and a dog who is chewing on her feet. Tate! No chewing. Go. I need to put a fucking cone on you. Alright, so we told Sai to maybe not do a murder. You remember what you learned from your time with the Signless. Surely there must be a way to get out of this with both parties unharmed and the movement's discretion capped, isn't there? So you yell, "Stop!" And then, a little quieter and more comforting, "Wait, let's think about this. Remember when we were talking just a few seconds ago? Yeah, let's go back to that. Talking. The conversation. Take a deep breath, maybe?" With your voice, Sai lets a shaky breath out. You didn't realize how tightly he was wound until he exhaled. Damn, you kinda can't believe he actually listened to you. The indigo blood is still trapped against the wall, but it's more of a calmer hold and less of an I am about to vaporize you in the next second time. Good. Good, you're getting somewhere. Okay, think. What would the Signless do now? WWTSD, if you will. You're about to open your mouth again, because so far that's gotten you out of most things, when suddenly a sharp and loud noise sounds from what must be a couple blocks away from you. It's nothing, but the disruption is sudden and unexpected enough that every muscle in Sai's body tenses right back up. In a fraction of a second, the sonics around both of them flare into a sea of blinding light. You shut your eyes tight at the sight of it, as if just looking at it could hurt you. You hear kind of a zapping sound, and every hair on your body sticks straight up. A metallic taste is thick on your tongue. A scream gets cut short. Okay, so if you pick the route that says do a murder, the murder doesn't happen. If you pick the route that says no, don't do a murder, the murder happens. I see you, Distantquest. I see you fucking with my narrative decisions without actually making me fuck with the narration too much. Alright, okay, I love you. And when you finally open your eyes again, the troll isn't against the wall anymore. In fact, the troll isn't anywhere. Hi, Pie! For a moment, you panic, thinking they got away. When you look down and see a pile of charred bones where they were once hovering. I shouldn't be smiling while I'm reading this, but I'm laughing too much at Pie's :3C, because that is my favorite fucking emote. I'm also gonna have Anne Cherry. Hey, thanks, Pie. I think that was Pie. Yes. Tate. Hey, Tate. Do you want Anne Cherry? Do you want Anne Cherry?
Ooh, boo, it's murder time.
Here, here's half Anne Cherry. I took the pit out for you. Because I love you and I don't want you to choke on the cherry pit. There you go. That's it. Puppies get one cherry. The rest is for humans. Don't lick your paws. It's always a good time for murder on historic Alternia. Oh god, okay, so repeat followers will know that I grew up on... Well, not on. I grew up near a museum that was like an 1800s historic reenactment sort of situation where they like collected a bunch of houses from like the 19th century? Not a specific decade. It ranges from... The houses range from like the 1700s to like the late 1800s, but they brought them all to one area and there are a bunch of like 1800s reenactors walking around. And what I would like to pitch to you is that, but it's on Alternia, and it's a historical reenactment situation, but in the canon verse that Distantquest has set up, they all use 2020 slang. Instead of like, it's all... Like, this dude has said epic and, like... What did he say about his panic attack? He's using, like, 2020 slang. But it's, like... This is an ancient tale. And the concept of current slang being ancient slang is a good... And, like... People role-playing and saying PogChamp for role-playing purposes because it's something people hundreds of years ago said is good, actually.
Fuck this.
I love you, Rai. Gamer speak is ancient Alternian dialect, confirmed. Alright. For a moment you panic, thinking they got away, when you look down and see a pile of charred bones where they were once hovering. Well... You take a look at Psy to assess the damage. His psionics aren't surrounding him anymore, his posture achingly still, feet planted firmly on the floor. You can see his chest rise and fall with heavy breaths. He's not looking at you, or anything else around him, just staring straight ahead. Maybe you should go up to him? Place a caring hand on his shoulder to help calm him down? You're really trying to find some way to salvage the situation and get those friendship vibes rolling. You have a fetish and you are a slut. Yeah, okay, not one of your smartest plans. He nearly jumps out of his own skin as you try to reach him to comfort him, hisses and backs away suddenly.
What the fuck? Get away from me.
You shrink into yourself. Why does everything you do just end up making things worse? You take your outstretched hand and pull it back to yourself, cradling it in your other, suddenly not knowing what to do with yourself. Sai looks back at you and sighs.
Okay, I didn't mean to snap at you, Jason, honest. Especially if you touch me right now, I don't know if you'll be safe. If you'd be safe. I could just fucking electrocute you on the spot or something. I don't know how your feeble creature body would react to it. I mean, no offense. By the way, this might not be the best time to be asking this, but what are you? No judgment or anything.
You thought he'd never ask! You tell him you're an alien.
Oh, dope. Anyway, so, addressing the situation at hand, I really did just commit murder right then, so I completely understand if you want to cut your losses and scram before you get involved any further.
You shake your head and plant your feet firmly on the floor. You asked to be a part of this plan, and you're not going to just bail when shit gets real. You're gonna see it to its end.
Damn, thanks. I appreciate it.
Buff side confirmed! Fuck, look at those arms, dude. Like, I've given him greasy nasally boy voice because I just went with my usual Solix voice, but like... Petition for The Rock to voice Distantquest Psy. Alright, sorry, I'm eating a cherry. I'm fucking ruining my audio quality. I should just have a sip of water. Yeah, audio. Alright.
Damn, thanks. I appreciate it.
You want to say that's what friends are for, right? That might be pushing the friendship bill a little too soon. Instead, you tell him it's no worries. You like being his partner in crime. Is there anything you can do to help? This entire game was just an excuse for me to have Buff Psy. Listen, this entire game, and all of the art and stuff has been like, hey buddy, remember all those headcanons that were established about the ancestors in like 2012?
No.
And then that's been it, and it's great, and I love it, and thank you. It's just that picture of, hang on, I need visual reference here. I specifically mean this one. Like, no. You thought you knew the ancestors. You thought wrong. Did wrong. God, Now here's the thing, is I have seen both extremely tall and extremely short Condes, and I have liked both of them, so I... Like, anything if you serve me an ancestor, I'm gonna be like, cake. But like, I'm excited for both Condesses because I've seen good versions of both of them. I'm excited for all ancestors. I keep saying ancestors. I'm excited for all the fucking fan games that are coming out. Food. Alright.
Right, new plan. So, first course of action, let's split up, check east into the alley, to make sure no one saw shit.
Understood. You diligently walk the opposite way from Psy and peek your head out of the corner of the alley, looking this way and that. The streets are still a ghost town, and there's no one around for as far as you can see. You meet him back at the bone pile and fuck. You meet him back at the bone pile and relay your findings.
Epic. I think that means they're in the clear on that front.
Something on the ground catches your eyes, and while crouching down to pick it up, you realize it was the earpiece from before. There are wires haphazardly sticking out of it from where it was yanked, and you notice they look less like actual wires and more like squirming little invertebrates.
Where? Where?
It makes you shiver at the alienness. Technology really shouldn't be alive like that? Maybe you're just being closed-minded, but you hand it over to Sai because you assume he has a way of better understanding how to handle it. He pockets it with a nod, and suddenly his gaze turns downward.
Next order of business. The bones.
You look down at the pile next to your feet. Yeah, the bones are gonna be an issue.
I'm going to take them far out, and bury them for thoroughness' sake. I don't want anyone here getting blamed for something that was my fault to begin with. I mean, even allowing us to be here is enough trouble to put them on already.
Roger that. You pick up a bone off the floor and securely cradle it in your arms so Sai sees that you're ready to go. He smiles at you amusedly.
You really want to help with this part too?
Of course! Until the end, remember? So he lets you carry that bone and effortlessly picks up the entire rest with his Sai. You're sure they could have all fit in his arms, but he always looks like he really enjoys using his powers at any chance he gets, just because he can. You don't want to be nosy, but as you guys trace the outskirts of the town, making sure you stay unseen, you find yourself asking exactly why he does that. He obviously seems really proud.
You're telling me if you were hacked with incredibly badass mind powers, you wouldn't spend every waking moment wanting to show that off?
Me, walking around in my underwear. You're telling me if you didn't pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for your testosterone and for your transition, that you wouldn't walk around with no shirt on all the time just for your tummy hair? Okay, points were made. The town around you fades into the background as the both of you reach the edge of the forest. There's a marked path in front of you, but Sai elects to lead you both through the thicket of the trees instead, away from any potential passerby.
Okay. It makes me feel good to know I can do whatever I want with my Sai, and nobody can say anything about it, even if it's something that's technically useless like carrying around a bunch of bones. It's something that's mine.
Also, this track is really good. So, the whole killing people with his Sai thing, does that... You really don't know how to phrase this correctly. Does that, like, happen often, or... His face gets gravely serious.
Only to protect others. Or out of self-defense. It's not like I wake up in the evening going, "Dee, who am I going to call tonight?" or anything. But yeah, sometimes it happens.
And the Signless is okay with that?
You sure know how to pick light travel information topics.
Oh boy, that came out all wrong, didn't it? You didn't mean to overstep, really.
Don't worry, I'm just fucking with you. Considering you're my co-conspirator in high-blood assassinations now, I feel like you have the right to pray a little.
He knows he writes. You think to yourself all you can do with this newfound power, the friendship crafting possibilities.
Sai's not my keeper. He understands I'm on my...
I really love when routes, like, I know that that's like an important part of routes, but I like when routes repeat the same phrases but recontextualize them differently.
He understands I'm my own troll and whatever decisions I make are on me. And he trusts I know how to do the right thing. I know to do the right thing. But what's right for me and what's right for him don't line up perfectly. Sai thinks that everyone has the potential for good. I don't know if I can let myself agree with that. Not all the time. But I'd really like to be proven wrong. Anyway, turns out, morality is a fuck sometimes. But it's not like he'd be able to do anything like that himself. Hurting anybody, I mean. Even if it was necessary. Even if he'd end up on the other end of the culling fork. I love him, but his pusser's kinda broken that way.
You get that. From what you've seen of the Signless, at least, he definitely seems like he has much less of a penchant for violence than your average Alternian.
Right? It's weird. But also really sweet. Wow, I got extremely affectionate just then, my apologies. Cringe alert.
No cringe alert! Not to gossip or anything, but you retell the moment that Dolorosa called the Clade the most important people in the world to her, and when the Signless called them the pieces of his heart. It's obvious they all care a lot about each other. He smiles at that, but not in the surprised kind of way. Just a familiar comfortability.
Yeah, I guess it kind of goes without saying at this point, but I would do literally anything for those bitches. They gave me my life, and I'm still trying to find a way to repay them for it.
Well, not to offer your opinion where it isn't needed, but you think he doesn't have to repay anything. I mean, just look at everything he's done tonight just to make sure nothing went wrong at the Silence's sermon. And from how the others talk about him, they sound like it means a lot to them just to have him around.
It's just that well, I'm about to go absolutely buck wild and overshare just then, what the fuck? I swear you have some kind of infected complex emotion disease that compels everyone within a 20-foot radius to start lamenting about their tragic backstories or some shit. It's something about your vibe, specifically.
You silently cheer yourself on. Openness is the cornerstones of friendship! No, please continue, really. You want to encourage him to open up even more, but you can tell that it's not the smartest idea. You reckoned if you pushed any further, Sai would completely drop it and not touch the topic again with a 10-foot pole. He kicks aimlessly at the forest floor.
It's just that I've always had this feeling that I wouldn't live for very long. Or maybe that's just some kind of learned low-blood instinct or whatever, but yeah, I had kind of always been working under the assumption I was going to meet some sort end, etc., etc. Before I met them, I used to tell myself that it didn't matter if I die, c'est la vie, I didn't care. But now it sucks because I really do care. I do care, I have no idea how to deal with that. It was like, I didn't have a purpose. I felt like I didn't mean anything. And then I met them, and for one perfect moment, suddenly I get a purpose, and I'm like, oh shit, this is what having a life feels like.
Main character-induced expedition syndrome, there it is! Also, this is hitting hard to the depression brain.
Stein talked to me like I was an actual person for 2 seconds, and immediately after that I was like, okay, this is it! Case closed, I would do anything for you now, I followed you a cliff and thank you for it. I follow you off a cliff and thank you for it. I'm not, like, all that religious, but sometimes I find myself praying to the eldest force that be for just a little more time. For just a couple more weeks. Because every night when I wake up to them and get to exist in the same space as them, I know there isn't anything I wouldn't give for just one more second of that.
Oh, this hurts. You think about all you learned about the Silence's revolution from Tisius, how it's doomed to fall apart. You think about how she didn't even know the titles of his clade members, how they were completely wiped from history, just vague silhouetted figures next to a mythical failure. And then you think about the troll in front of you now, how real he is, how he's not just a footnote and a monologue said by an exhausted teal, and you know you're in no place to comfort him about the future.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Fuck. You glance away briefly, lost in the hostile-looking flora, the sharp angle of the branches of the trees, as Sai zigzags you down an impossible-to-predict path further into the woods. Why is everything terrifying here? You try to figure out how to respond. You don't comfort him because you can't. Instead, you tell him you can relate. You have no idea how you made it this far, time fuckery included. You can picture yourself in these little snippets of moments where you surely met your demise afterwards, but none of them feel truly real. But there's still kind of background noise in your disjointed memories. Like a collection of a bunch of bad nightmares you woke up from before it got too vivid. You don't like to dwell on things like that.
Yeah, I don't know how long you've had to deal with Alternia, little alien, but that is basically the 24-hour-7 moon. Count yourself unlucky you ever ended up on this bit of a planet.
Huh? No, but like, you're glad you're here now. If you never came to Alternia, you would have never befriended people who challenge your viewpoint on life, and have come from so many different backgrounds. If you never came to Alternia, you would have never met Hem, or the Signless, or the Dolorosa, and you think it's a real honor to see people actively trying to bring into existence something they believe in. I need stretch. Oh, okay.
I'm definitely not the authority in having healthy viewpoints on life, but that sounds like a good place to be at for you.
Good place to be. That sounds like a good place to be at.
Good place to be at. Good for you. When I first saw Hassan interact with the world, it made me want to hide. To take Cam and Rosa and Dai and bring them into some perfect place isolated from any possible threat so they wouldn't ever get hurt. But I've grown up, I know it's not that simple anymore. That place doesn't exist, there's always going to be a threat. But being able to even just talk about it gives me some kind of feeling of agency over how our planet works, and that conversation brings agency to anyone we meet. It feels fucking exhilarating to know you have an impact, and I'll fight for anyone in our community to get to feel that too.
The two of you find a clearing. Somewhere deeper into the wild, something that sounds like a mix between a bird and a panicked reptile hisses and screeches. Sai kicks a big rock with his boot for emphasis.
I think this is far away enough from town to not be conspicuous.
Oh right, you came out here to bury a body. The bones Sai was holding hit the floor. You nod in agreement and toss your singular bone into the pile. On his hands and knees, he starts ripping into the soil with his claws, almost insect-like, as if he's digging a tunnel to burrow into. You're kind of surprised he didn't use his powers for this. Slowly, you walk over to him and join him, dirt getting under your fingernails as the two of you dig a shallow hole. It's a quiet moment, but you like the way it feels. Just two bros in the middle of nowhere, wilding out. Fuck! When all is done and you got yourself a sizable hole to work with, he dusts off his hands and makes what you think is eye contact with you.
Okay, so if I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of disgusted at the degree to which I overshared tonight. You're a great listener and everything, don't get me wrong, but I kind of would prefer it after we get the fuck back out of Dodge. We both pretend to have all the personal information I just disclosed actually was never iterated into existence. Does that sound fair to you?
Hey, he called you a good listener. No, yeah, that makes sense. Understandable.
Nice.
And with that, the two of you move the bones into their shallow grave, and you pack the last of the earth on top of all the secrets you've just buried. You look at it for a moment, the patch of dirt nearly patted down tight, and then you remember where you are. In the middle of the woods on Alternia, where every living thing will not hesitate to come for your throat. You circle around yourself and you're hopelessly lost. Were you supposed to keep track of the direction you two went in relation from the town? Because you really didn't. Your throat tightens. You're gonna be stuck here, aren't you? Because you didn't shoot right, and this is where the bad thing happens now. And then something's going to attack you, because that's always what happens, and then you're going to get hurt, or Sai's going to get hurt, and it'll be all your fault, and...
Hey, look at me.
No, back to your panic attack. Now look at me. You get your panic stare off everything around you and look at him. He's perfectly calm and it makes the dread in your stomach subside for just a second.
I promise you, you're both going to be fine.
He smiles.
I did say I'm the most powerful psionic on the planet, right?
You swallow, and you're about to tell him, yes, he did say that, but before you can, energy surrounds you like an all-enveloping cocoon. It kind of scares you, for just a second, and instinctually. The air smells so metallic it burns your nostrils, and you feel like you're far too close to something so lethal. Your animal instinct makes you want to scamper away. But then he lifts you up, out of the tangling underbrush of the forest, and shoots you straight into the air, thousands of stories high, him right next to you the entire time, cutting through the sky all graceful and effortless. Both of you float slowly to a halt. You feel like a bird up here, all the adrenaline you get on the tip of a roller coaster without the fear of a descent. You look down to see the woods you felt so terrified in is just a blip in a map extending out and curving beneath you. You wiggle your legs a little, just to drive home the feeling that you're literally flying, turning yourself around in the air to scan the night sky.
I'm something of a psionic myself.
It looks so beautiful. The twin moons, the gradient of the dark under the bright stars.
Pretty cool, right?
That is definitely an understatement.
I told you we had nothing to worry about. I come up here to think a lot. Or just to fuck around because it's fun and I can. Kind of put things in perspective. Back to business now, help me look for that town.
You scan the planet below you, finding the spot again where you used to be, the canopy of trees all reduced to blurred colors from up this high. You point with your finger and, one eye closed, draw a line to where the canopy stops and meets a town nestled in between the hills. The forest cleared away around it and the rooftops in twinkle of sparse lights in between carved out streets. That's got to be it, you tell Sai. Okay, sorry, stretching. And not indigestion or something, but...
Great work, co-conspirator. We were never lost, see? We just had to look at it from a different angle. And also use my badass mind power.
I love you, Psionic. You smile at him. Sai must have said he's not adept at healthy mindsets, but he sure knows how to comfort someone when they need it. You hope he knows that.
Alright, prepare yourself. I like to make a bit of an entrance.
With that, the two of you make a straight shot for the town, and with his Sai still holding onto you carefully, you dive into a descent head first, catapulted back to the ground. Everything passes by you so fast, and you feel close to indestructible. Well, you are indestructible, you meant to yourself. You are being enveloped in pure light itself. And then it's over. Sai carefully glides you to the floor of this town street, and lifts all hold he had on you. Your legs wobble because you'd forgotten the feeling of gravity for a while there, but with some effort you stand yourself back up straight. You thank him for getting the two of you out of the woods, not figuratively.
That's no fun. I should be thanking you for you. I should be thanking you for, you know.
He looks around, this way and that, making sure no one's around to listen in.
Committing treason with me. I don't think I could have handled all that alone.
He looks you up and down, and then decisively spits on his hand and holds it out to you, as if waiting for you to shake it. You're frozen.
So you're really gonna leave me hanging? After all we've been through?
No, of course not. It just caught you by surprise is all. You didn't think he was too keen on people touching him and everything after you tried to before.
Well, yeah, random alien in an alley after I... Well, yeah, random alien in an alley after I just wiled it out and called the troll? No. With a friend? Of course I want you to give me some motherfucking skin.
Oh, he really just dropped the F word like that on your fragile heart, huh? Well, there's no stopping it now. You proudly hold up your palm and spit into it, giving him the most epic firm friendship handshake of all time. Treason buddies! That was good, y'all. Alright. Been streaming for an hour and a half. We got 8 people still on, though. We gonna go right into the Nico-lution will not be televised, nya? Fuck. I might put us on a bit of a, or might have a bit of a break. Just so I can munch on some of these cherries and we can talk about this route. Hey, Belmonts! Rebranded Belmonts. God, okay. What did I like about Psy route? Well, I'm sitting here eating some cherries to tide me over for the next route. Oh, you're fine to lurk. I'm just reading this out loud. Nobody's obligated to pop into the chat. So, what did I like about that route? Fake out choice with the murder or do not murder was good. Psy's a very bristly and hard character to get to know, kind of similar to Matuna. And it's interesting to get to have played the Befriendus Matuna route, that one came out, that we can kind of look at them, because they aren't the same character, but they are... Oh, they're different versions of the same character. The Disciple is the Antifa cat girl foretold in the scrolls! God, fuck.